You are looking at a map of the heart of the Old West Side for the Chicago Jewry. It was bounded by Independence Boulevard on the west and Douglas Boulevard on the south. These two wide median divided boulevards housed several community structures, mainly synagogues. Let's take a look at the handful that still remain 60 years later, albeit they are now churches. The first that we see here is Congregation Anshe Shalom. The synagogue eventually merged with another one in the Lakeview area and is on Melrose. What you don't see in the frame of this picture is that at the top there is a stone carving of the Ten Commandments. Polk is 800 south. The next synagogue on our itinerary is 4 blocks south on the 1200 block, and it is on the east side of the boulevard. We are approaching Roosevelt Road and was the main avenue for purchasing kosher foods. As a tot, I vaguely remember going with my father to the Palestine store to buy delicatessen foods. In those days, the word Palestine was associated with Jews and Israel. This building here housed Temple Judea, one of the few Reformed temples that existed in this area. The congregation eventually moved to Skokie. In this close-up shot, you can see both a Jewish star and the 2 Ten Commandment tablets. There were purportedly around 70 synagogues in the entire Lawndale area, and it's not an exaggeration to say that about 99% of them were of the Orthodox Association. We're crossing back over to the west side of the boulevard to see another building that is now a church but was once a synagogue. This was Knesset Yisrael Nusach Sfard, or more affectionately called KINS. The name roughly translates to Assembly of Israel in the Spanish tradition. When the congregation moved in the mid-1950s, it went to the West Rogers Park area where it still flourishes today. Our next stop keeps us on the west side of the boulevard, but Independence ends at Douglas and does an S-curve to go right into it. Douglas Boulevard is 1400 south. But instead of staying on the main road, we're going to pull off into the side road of Hamlin Avenue. The building with the white masonry look was once called Congregation Kehilloth Jacob. When the congregation moved out of this area in the mid-1950s, it merged with Congregation Beth Samuel to be called Kehilloth Jacob Beth Samuel, or KJBS. It flourishes in the Peterson Park area on Devon. We're going to stay on this side of the street and move up from the 3800 block to the 3300 block on Douglas Boulevard. We'll do a little time lapse to shorten the 5-block journey. And to make it a little more entertaining, Maestro, a little music please. We are closing in on the next synagogue. It is called Congregation Mishnah Gemara. And here it is. It also moved to West Rogers Park and is still standing there on California Avenue near Peterson. Our next stop takes us to the other side of Douglas Boulevard, the north side of the street. So we head west back to Holman Avenue and make a right to traverse through the median at this spot. We now hang a left and head west. Holman is 3400 west, and we don't have very far to go. In fact, we're almost here. This Lawndale Academy school building once had erected on it the Hebrew Theological College. By 1960, it had moved to its new campus in the Skokie area. The original structure had Roman columns gracing its portal. The building on the next street has been rehabbed, and it was originally the JPI, or the Jewish People's Institute. This was the place to go to for social events and dances. It also housed a gymnasium for athletic contests in a safe environment. Our final port of call is on the next block, and we'll speed up the camera once again. In the middle of the block past the corner at Central Park, we will see the final synagogue on this short trip. More than 60 years ago, this building was called the First Romanian Sharei Shamayim Synagogue. The last two words in Hebrew mean gates of heaven. The congregation was started by a group of people who came over from Romania. And it has been noted that in the early 1900s, when the Queen of Romania came to the United States, she stopped and visited at this temple. The synagogue ceased to exist when the neighborhood changed. Memorial boards listing the names of the deceased were transferred to the Loop Synagogue on Clark Street. I'm guessing this means that some type of financial donation was made to that synagogue to maintain the recital of prayers for the departed on the anniversaries of their death. And so ends this brief look at old synagogues. Look for more episodes in the future.